A longtime sports columnist is resigning from his post after he says his paper refused to publish his piece on saving women's sports. Matt Calkins posted on X this: "After 11 years as a sports columnist at the Seattle Times, I have decided to resign. It was entirely my choice, and it was not an easy one. The impetus was the Times declining to run a column I wrote from the perspective of two female student athletes who were opposed to competing against biological males. It was one of several pieces of mine that had been spiked, and I no longer felt like I could properly do my job as a columnist." Calkins also spoke with Fox News Digital about the debacle. Watch.
I tried to write a column through the eyes of two student athletes who were kind of speaking out against, biological males in girls/women's sports. Basically, 6 days went by and they said, "Oh, we're looking at it. Let me give it to this editor. This editor is going to have a talk with the top two editors." And 6 days later, they decided it wasn't going to run. My main thing was, let's have an honest conversation about this, and let me get these girls' voices out there.
Fox News Digital has reached out to the Seattle Times for a response, but has not heard back. Meanwhile, supporters of Sophie Cunningham continue to rally outside WNBA games after she spoke out against men competing in women's sports. And Cunningham is now calling out the WNBA commissioner, telling USA Today this: "You do have to be a person, you do have to have a person in power who is bold, who is confident, who wants the best for the players and not maybe for themselves all the time. So I do feel like, as a whole, that could be a position that's maybe open at the end of the year." Kathy Engelbert's done a lot of good things, but with where our league is trying to go, I just feel like you just want someone who also wants that. Jason, pick your poison, but I wanted to talk about the Seattle Times columnist first.
Yeah, okay. No, Matt Calkins, yeah. I really like.
He's so everyone loves him in the Pac Northwest, and he's been incredible.
I think he made one of the most important points that he made is that you can advocate for the separation of men and women in sports. That does not make you transphobic. And so I think that's right. I think most people are saying you have an NBA and you have a WNBA, and for most people, there's a differentiation there that's not lost, but it doesn't make you transphobic. And so that's, I think, one of the lessons that's out of this. And Matt, that's got to be a hard decision. Give up your livelihood somewhere you've been making some money, but he stood on principle, and I think he'll be respected around the country for it.
Yeah, and Kaylee, sort of breaking down exactly what he said. So to Jason's point, his proposed column was just simply writing from the two female young athletes' perspectives, and the argument was that them not wanting to play against boys didn't make them transphobic. Now, this follows as well a history there at the Seattle Times where they killed all kinds of articles of his that he claims ran against their very far left radical agenda. One, for example, was an argument against, how the female soccer team sued for equal pay with the guys. He wrote an article sort of outlining the reasons maybe why not, maybe why there wasn't an equal pay situation going on or whatever. That too was killed. So he says, look, I'm moderate. Like I'm not anything. But any time I offered the different opinion from the far left radical agenda of the newsroom, they would kill it without any discussion with him.
Yes, and he gave many more examples to your point about cancel culture in sports, and that was canceled. That's crazy. So the Seattle Times cancellations allegedly all seem to run in one direction. It is absolutely insane. And on the issue of biological men and women's sports, so you are saying, Seattle Times, if this is true, that young women who don't want to compete against biological males do not get a voice in the paper, at least via this column. You're saying 80% plus of the country that agrees with that position doesn't get a voice in your paper. So are you sharing the news or are you shaping the news by editorializing? That's a real question the Seattle Times should have to answer, and others should answer it as well, including ABC News by way of example. When you had someone come out recently, Terry Moran, saying that they heavily altered my COVID lab leak story because they ran it through Dr. Anthony Fauci. These are things that we need to ask of every news organization in the country, starting with the Seattle Times.
Donna, I went to University of Washington. I love Seattle. I lived there for so many years. My family's there. The Seattle Times, of course, is always left. I mean, it's a left-leaning city. But this is not the Seattle Times that I grew up with and that I know. And keep in mind, this entire conversation of this particular instance, it's the sports column. Like, they're not that would be excusable either, but this isn't a proposed op-ed. Like, let the guy cover sports.
Well, and you're right. That's the one place where we shouldn't have to deal with this whole political structure that we live in every day. But what is this? This is one more check in the box on the balance sheet for why people don't trust mainstream media or journalism anymore. This is the reason. The more you continue to silence these voices, the louder they get. And you silence this guy, and instead of having one column in the paper that people talk about for a few minutes, now you have people like us talking about this for days and highlighting the fact that this is continuing to go on. It's awful, it's sad, it's showing that everything that we do today is steeped with your political leanings and background. It's like we can't do anything anymore without talking about politics as the undertone. It's tiresome. I'm happy people are speaking out about it. These girls should continue to speak. I mean, we have built a society on separation of men and women in different places, right? Bathrooms, sports, places you can and can't go. And now we have this whole thing that we have to deal with where girls can't even give their opinion on whether or not they want to play with men. I would love for women to go try out for the NBA and see how that goes, right? That's never going to happen. And why? Because they can't cut it. They're not strong enough to play in that league. Tennis players, they don't play against each other because men are biologically stronger. This argument is getting so tiresome. It's so easy to debunk. And the reason they want to silence it is because in the end, they know it doesn't make sense.
I can't imagine how those two little girls feel.
Yes.
Too, and their families, who maybe thought someone was actually hearing them and just making the point they're not transphobic, and then this just slaps them in the face that they are just back in that square one.
It's an especially confusing and difficult time, I would say, for young women who play in sports especially, because the messaging is such that you matter less if there's a man who can join your team. And why are we okay with that? I mean, why are we okay with that? Look how long it took us in this country that just turned 250 years. We've been voting for far less than that time as women. So, I mean, look at our journey to fight for the things that we have. Title IX, and we just cede it all to the cultural and political, sort of anglings of the moment. I want to say two things quickly. For the newspaper, Seattle Times, I thought the game was to print more words. Right? You don't like the perspective of something that is based on interviews and truth and good journalistic gathering with Matt. You don't like that, then print an op-ed and print more words. Like, don't shut down part of what you think should be free speech. Show it all and let people decide for themselves. And by the way, I speak directly to the independent journalists out there and to Matt if you're going to join them. You have a divine assignment on your life to go get the truth and tell it in a compelling way so that people take it in and decide for themselves. Keep doing it. The net shall appear.
And good for Sophie Cunningham.
Right. Oh, love her.
Yeah, for
Courtesy
sure.
of the red, white, and blue. I love her rendition.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.